Greetings. My name is Dr. John Wineland, and welcome to GHS 104. This is a course called U.S. History 2. It's the second half of U.S. History. So if you were in my class last semester, this is going to look familiar to you, except we're moving up past the Civil War now. We're in the Reconstruction period, and we're going to move on into the 20th century. And probably complete the 20th century. So we're going to be covering a little over 100 years, about 130 years of history. All right, I assume you know how to log into Canvas. You're going to need that for this course. This course is a hybrid course. It's a hybrid course. I'm going to go to the syllabus. The syllabus can be found right there on Canvas, so you can look it over. Spring 2023 U.S. History 2 syllabus at Central. Okay, there's my name. There's my phone number. That should only be used in emergency kind of situations. The best way to contact me is to use the email address from Central. We're going to meet in room 222, and we're going to meet there. It's a hybrid course, which means that I won't always be in the room with you, but you'll meet in the room. But sometimes I will be in the room. For example, next week, I'm going to be in the room with you, and I'll be on campus for 2 weeks. And then I'll come back home, and we'll continue online. But for this week, we're going to do it as a hybrid course where I am at home, and you are in Moberly. All right? All right, so I won't read to you the mission statement and so forth. You've probably seen those before, but something that is important is our textbook. And by the way, our textbook is free. You don't have to buy it. It's all online. If you want a printed copy, one you can hold in your hand, that you'll have to buy. But otherwise, you can look at it all online. In fact, I've incorporated it in to the Canvas listing so that you can click on it, and it should take you there right to the chapter that you need. All right? So, your course requirements, you're to participate in class, and that's both when I'm not in the room and when I am in the room, because I'll be able to see you, you'll be able to see me, I'll be able to hear you, you'll be able to hear me. So we're going to run the class basically just like if I was in the room. We'll take attendance, I'll have a PowerPoint, we'll have questions, I might ask you questions and you can respond, okay? And so we divide the course by weeks, but we also divide the course by units. So you're going to see there are 8 units that are 2 weeks each. Okay? And so here you see, in the course of a unit, there will be a unit reflection, there will be a unit forum, and there will be 8 terms a unit. So that means for every 2 weeks. The first week of this class, you don't have to do that, but it would probably be wise to get started on some of this, so you don't have to have it all to be due the second week. There will be a quiz every week, and we'll talk more about that, and then 15 video assignments called Crash Course Videos, Crash Course History, with questions for you to answer. Okay? The term assignments. All right, the term assignments come 8 times, 25 points each. What is that? Well, there are going to be 20 terms per unit. That means 10 terms per chapter. And on this, you'll give a date or a range of dates. So, for example, if the term was Abraham Lincoln, which it's not going to be in this half of the course, then you would type on the page, number 1, Abraham Lincoln, put a parenthesis, give me a range of dates. Could be 1809 to 1865, could be 1860 to 1861 to 1865 when he was president. And you have to give me some dates. Don't just say 100 years ago. Don't just say 19th century. Don't just give me a century. Don't just say, oh, it was from 1800 to 1900. No. You got to give me a range of dates that lets me know that you're aware of when did this take place. All right? That's the first thing. Second thing is you have to identify that term. How does that term relate to the rest of history? How do you distinguish it from other ones? So, for example, it was Abraham Lincoln. You might say, oh, he was the guy on the $5 bill. Well, that's true, but that's not really what I'm looking for, is it? Or the guy on the penny guy. No. You want to say, you might even say, well, he was a president. There are a lot of presidents. He was a United States president. Okay, now we're narrowing it down into a little over 40 people. But if you said Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president of the United States, you have now identified Abraham Lincoln. No one else has ever been or ever will be the 16th president of the United States except Abraham Lincoln. See how that works? You've identified Abraham Lincoln and distinguished him, in this case, from other similar people or things. And then the third part is to give a significance. In other words, you might ask yourself, so what? Big deal. Abraham Lincoln, what did he ever do? Why is he important? In this case, you might mention something about trying to preserve the Union during the Civil War, maybe the issuing of the Emancipation Proclamation. There's not one answer there, but you got to pick one. All right, so remember, you need to do that. And there will be quizzes, one quiz over each chapter. There will be 15 chapters that we cover, and then one crash course video for each unit. Okay? And here you see it's just telling you the estimated time it'll take you to do this. Here's our grading scale. That's the standard one everybody, as far as I know, uses at Central. And here we go. Unit 1, read chapter 16 and 17. So for week 1, read chapter 16. In the textbook, Reconstruction. Take the quiz over chapter 16. Do the crash course 1, which, by the way, is related to chapter 16. Then the second week, chapter 17. Quiz over chapter 17. The second crash course video, which is over chapter 17. Do the forum and the unit reflection. We'll talk about that in a moment. So here, basically, this first part is academic honesty. I would say, summarize it. You can read it for yourself. Don't cheat. Don't plagiarize. Don't copy other people's work. Etiquette. I would summarize that. You can read it. Be kind to each other. Be kind. Be kind to me. I'll try to be kind to you. Let's be kind to each other. Student to student, professor to student, and so forth. Late work. Your work is due on the day that it's due. And if there's extenuating circumstances, let me know, and we'll see what we might be able to work out. All right. So if you're going to upload things, I don't see uploading any PowerPoints, but you're going to be uploading Word files. What I'd recommend is that you type your work out on your laptop, on your computer, and save it as a Word file, and then upload it onto Canvas. I recommend that rather than typing it on straight into Canvas, because sometimes if there's a glitch on your computer or on Canvas, then you lost your work. Or if I log in and I don't see your work and I say, where is it? And then you don't have a copy of it because you just typed it into Canvas. So type it always into Word, save it as a file, and then you can upload it again if needed. All right. That's it. That's it for that. Now, let's take a look. Let's go back here to Home. And this should bring up for us all the things. You notice we have 8 units, and we're going to have 15 weeks. And we're going to take a look at 15 chapters. So we're definitely going to get up to 1980. We might get a little bit further. And then there you see the 60s and the Cold War, World War II, and so forth. So let's just talk about the first week, the first unit. Reconstruction and the westward expansion. So after the Civil War, we have Reconstruction, then the move westward. So week 1, that's this week, January 17th through the 22nd. Read the textbook, chapter 16. Look at the PowerPoint on chapter 16. I will be giving you a lecture on chapter 16, so you'll want to look at that and listen to that, take notes. Then do crash course 1, quiz 1. That's going to get you through quiz 1. By the time you get to week 2, I will be there. Now, how does this course work, you might be saying? Well, the first week we're going to do it hybrid, as we normally do when I'm not in Moberly. That means that there will be a link on this page, and I'll put it up there when the time comes, and it'll be a link to Zoom. Somebody in the room, and I'm going to need some volunteers who are pretty good with tech stuff, will start up the computer, press into the Zoom, and then if all works well, I will appear on the screen, and then I will go through the PowerPoint, okay? And then we'll have questions and discussion, just like if I was in the room, okay? So for weeks when I'm not in Moberly, since this is a hybrid course, there's a lot of stuff online for you to do. So we're only going to meet twice a week normally when I'm not in Moberly. You get that? So that's going to normally be Tuesday and Wednesday, because we're supposed to meet Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Now, then when I'm in Moberly, like I will be next week, we're going to meet every one of those days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just so we can have some quality time together. Now, this first week, it is a little unusual. I've got to do some medical things. It's not serious, but it's going to take me out on Wednesday, and it might even hinder me on Tuesday being able to get the Zoom to work and everything. But we're going to try to do it on Tuesday. And then what we'll do is we'll meet in the room on Thursday the first week. So here's the thing to remember. We're going to meet in the room Tuesday and Thursday the first week. Then I'll be there in person, and then we can talk anything out that you have. And if you have any questions, remember, always send me an email. All right, let's talk about the textbook first of all. Let's see if I can get this to work. My internet is a little bit slow today, but when you click on it, you see it's going to go to textbook chapter 16. If you click on that, it's going to take you to your textbook. Now, it might take a moment because my internet is a little slow, but there it is. Not too bad. So here is your textbook. Every chapter is listed here. You see that? And it's all free. It's all free. And so what you can do, era of Reconstruction, you can go down through, look at the image, read the text. Okay? You can go to the next page, and you can continue reading. All right? So in many regards, it's just like any other textbook. The only thing is you don't have to buy this one. And it is, so it's free. It's all online. You don't have to haul your book around. So here you see the images loading now. And you see Abraham Lincoln. You see 13th Amendment and so forth. So that's your reading for week 1. Okay? I hope that's clear. Okay, good. So let me go back here, and you can see I've gone ahead and made it very easy. You can go section by section, go to the summary, everything like that. That's your textbook. That's the way it's going to be every week as you go through this textbook. So we talked about the syllabus, and we talked about the course schedule. Probably the best thing is just to follow along on Canvas, go unit by unit, week by week. That's the best thing. Do every assignment as it comes up. The PowerPoint is simply a PowerPoint that's related to the chapter of the textbook, which you can download and take a look at it. And I'll be giving a lecture for you on Thursday that will cover this chapter as well. Okay, so that's what that means. Crash Course 1. The Crash Course, you may be familiar with them. Crash Course videos have been around for a long time. And so after you watch the video, usually about 7-8 minutes, they talk very quickly. So you might want to listen to it once to get it and then go back and listen to it to get the answers. And these answers, these questions are not tough questions, really. They're just trying to see if you are actually paying attention and watching the video. All right? Okay, so that's Crash Course video, and you'll do that right online. You're never going to turn a paper into me, and I'm never going to give you back paper. You're not even get a paper syllabus. Everything is online. We are paperless. Then you will take quiz 1 the first week, and you're going to do a quiz every single week. Yes, 5 questions. You may use your textbook, however. You may use your notes. But what I don't want you to use is Google. What I don't want you to do is use your friend or your friend's notes or your friend's ideas. This is not a group project. This is your project. And it's only 5 questions. They're basically all multiple choice. Occasionally might be a true-false in there. And you have 10 minutes to do it. That's 2 minutes per question. The questions are going to pop up one at a time. You give the answer, the next question pops up. You do 5 of them, you got 10 minutes. Okay? So once you start this, however, be ready to do the whole thing. In other words, don't start it and then, go over and make a peanut butter sandwich and come back to finish it, because once you hit that 10-minute mark, it stops. Okay? Very good. Let's go back to the home base here, and let's see, what else do I need to mention? When we get to week 2, we do have study terms. We've already talked about the study terms when we went through the syllabus. Just to reiterate it here, this has got a nice summary about Abraham Lincoln. It's got all the terms. There's 10 terms. I lied to you. I said there were 20. But there's 10 terms. 10 terms for 2 weeks. 5 of chapter. Yeah, I need to change that in the syllabus. Anyway, I can make it back to 20, but we'll leave it at 5. All right, so here you got John Wilkes Booth, Susan B. Anthony, Oregon Trail. So some of these are ideas, some of them are events, some of them are places, some of them are laws or other things that were passed. Okay, so what you do, follow that guideline, type it up, and upload it in Canvas, and I will take a look at it. Okay, what else? Forum. Now the forum is a discussion question, basically, that covers something within the first 2 weeks of the first unit. Here's the very first one. And what I want you to do is to think about this based upon, so you should do this at the end, roughly, or after you've done quite a bit of it. It's always the second week. So you reflected on the information, and now you're going to give your answer. Once you give your answer, then you're going to see other people's answers, and you should respond to 2 or 3 of those people's answers as well. Does that make sense? Okay, wonderful. So there'll be 8 of those. That's the first one. What else? Let's see. Oh, yes, the reflection. Now, the reflection is a little assignment that just gets you to reflect. Basically, it's supposed to be related to this particular class and to the work that we did that particular unit. So, you need to have your name on it. You need to give a word count. You need to answer these specific questions. What is the most significant thing I learned this week? And by the way, it's not that your girlfriend likes popcorn or that you don't like some other kind of food. This is the most significant thing you learned about U.S. history in chapters, that related to this particular unit. Okay? How does this week's learning touch on my past? How will I use it, or have I used this knowledge in my ministry or life? And what questions do I have about this week's learning? Now, remember that says about this week's learning. So you're supposed to ask me a question. It's not supposed to be a question, hey, what's your favorite ice cream? It's supposed to be something related to the material that we've been covering in that unit. Does that make sense? Sometimes people just start writing all kinds of stuff there just to get it done, I guess. But I want you to be thinking about the material of the unit. Okay. I think that pretty much takes care of it. Yeah, that takes care of it. And so hopefully I will be seeing you on Tuesday. If for some reason I've got some appointments on Tuesday, and I may have some challenges making it to the class slot. If so, you'll be watching this video, and it's going to go over the stuff mainly I was going to say. But if not, I'd probably go over some of this in person. It'll probably be shorter because we've got this video you can watch. Then we definitely won't meet on Wednesday, but we will meet on Thursday. Come to the classroom. I will be there, and I will be on Zoom, and we'll get going with a lecture on chapter 16. All right? If you have any questions, please send me an email.